And welcome everyone to the Riverside County Board Brief as we give you a brief look at what happened during today's Riverside County Board of Supervisors meeting. My name is Fernandez, joined by our very special guest, Brooke Federico, our Public Information Officer for the County of Riverside. And Brooke, it's always a good time at the Board of Supervisors meetings when we get to highlight the folks that make Riverside County so special. And today during the meeting, we had the spotlight on a bunch of volunteers and their organizations.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, Pep. We had a very special award ceremony at the start of our board meeting today where we had Volunteers of the Year awards. It went to individuals as well as organizations from throughout all of Riverside County. We had organizations and individuals who are dedicated to things as serious and necessary as food stability to ensure that our hungry residents have food in their kitchens, and also rent stability to ensure that people are able to stay in their homes. And also we had groups and individuals who are dedicated to really amazing projects to ensure that our youth have literacy programs in their schools and beautifying our sidewalks by picking up trash. It is something that really embodies the beauty of Riverside County that first and foremost is found in our residents.
Yeah, it was neat to see. In fact, let's take a look at some video from earlier today. There was a big group setting with all of the volunteers in their organization. So the way it worked was, the 5 districts across Riverside County, well, there was a volunteer and an organization from all of the districts represented and highlighted. And it was pretty cool to go out and see them in their element, whether it was picking up trash in Wildemar or going out to the Galilee Center out in the Mecca area to Donkeyland. And what's cool, Brooke, as well is a lot of their goals, they intersect. They've already worked with each other. So a lot of this giving back and making the community around yourself better, they're already doing it and they've worked together. So there's a lot of great volunteers around Riverside County. V. Manuel Perez, one of his volunteers from Find Food Bank out in the desert as well. Debbie Espinoza, we heard from her about why what they do is so impactful to Riverside County and its residents.
Everybody that needs food has the ability to be able to receive it equitably and wholly, that it's nutritious, and that there's access. Thank you to the county for helping us with regards to that. It was lovely to partner with you. We are the Regional Disaster Food Bank out for that area. The EMD was amazing to be able to support us and help us find the locations we needed to go. And it truly takes a community to be able to ensure that people don't have to make choices between paying for their rent or eating their food or paying for medical bills or eating food. We can do this together, and we have the ability to make change in the community the way in which all of these organizations and volunteers are doing it today. So thank you so much for that.
Thank you. And Brooke and Debbie just touched on it, the fact that a lot of these nonprofits, they work hand in hand with county departments and agencies to make, their mission and their goals come to life.
Absolutely. Serving residents is also the mission of the county. A lot of the mission and purpose behind a lot of these volunteer groups is aligned perfectly with the mission of the county. And so those partnerships are so critical.
Absolutely. All right, Brooke, let's talk about ARPA funds. We've been talking about ARPA funds actually quite a bit here on the board brief the last several weeks. That is the American Rescue Plan Act funds. Let's take a look at some video from earlier today. And Brooke, let's talk specifically of what's going on in District Number 4 with Supervisor V. Manuel Perez and the Coachella Valley Water District.
Exactly. So as you mentioned, the ARPA funds, these are funds from the federal government. And today the board approved $6 million of those funds specifically to go to the Coachella Valley Water District to support the safe and clean delivery of water to areas of the Coachella Valley. It's incredibly important, and it's these types of items where we're able to see real lasting improvement in our infrastructure.
Yeah, support clean water to 600 to 700 new homes for affordable housing. Here is Supervisor Perez talking more about, and it goes without saying, having clean and safe water.
Too often we do have folks that turn on the water faucet and it smells rotten or it's not clear. Too often you have people that have to go into town to a store and pay out of their pocket for gallons of water. To take a shower, they sometimes get skin rashes from the water. They have to rely on a walk-up treatment station or a fire station and carry heavy water jugs. Or sometimes, depending on where they work, sometimes they work in the wealthier areas, if you will, of the Coachella Valley, and they ask their clients if they can have some water to take home. And so obviously, it's a very real issue. It's been a very real issue for decades. It's not acceptable. But I'm very proud of the fact that I have colleagues here that support me. Obviously, the grassroots organizations advocating. I appreciate the advocacy. But once again, I think that if we work together, we'll get some great things done.
All right, thank you very much, Supervisor Perez. And Brooke, let's move along here to, they were setting some public hearings, and you can talk more about this because you can give us some clarification, but public hearings have been scheduled in the month of May for waste collection. Why is that important to us?
Absolutely. So really to explain that the county, and in particular our Department of Environmental Health and our Waste Resources Department, does have fees for waste collection, specific to waste collection. So the board today approved public hearings on May 10th for fees associated with waste haulers in our unincorporated areas. In addition, on May 24th, there is another public hearing about or to discuss fees for solid waste, and that's what goes to the landfills in particular. In addition to that, the board also gave direction to the executive office to set a special study session to discuss new legislation that will be impacting the waste hauling industry. And I think we have a clip here that goes a little bit into some of what that legislation is about.
Yeah, there are several moving pieces here, and what's in front of us today is just a CPI for existing services. It's not an expansion of services, which we will need to encounter in the near future. And that likely will cost more money because there's going to be more work that needs to get done, more audits and documentation submitted up to Cal Recycle. That's part of 1383, and it's the big effort to divert organics from our landfill. That's at the bottom line of this, but there are some efforts being made towards the compliance for 1383 right now. Our department has taken on some of the food diversion pieces with the larger food facilities and diverting foods that's edible so that doesn't end up in the trash. That's the first part of this. Then the other is going to trickle down to the residential. That's where the haulers really come in, where they had 3-bin service will be the standard. And they'll be putting people where they have the green can, they'll be putting their food waste into that, and that's going to be processed differently, most likely differently than it is right now. And there's an additional cost to that as too, at that time. So the processing, there's additional costs that the customers bear that at the end of the day. And that's true, we're seeing that all across the state of California, and certainly all around here within our cities, within the county as well.
And again, that was Jeff Johnson, the Director for Environmental Health here for Riverside County. So waste haulers, ARPA funds, and volunteers. Brooke, I think we made the rounds here on the board brief today.
We sure did. It was a really special occasion to be here with you, and we really appreciate folks tuning into this board brief to get some highlights of the public's business that's being done here at the County of Riverside.
Yeah, we know people out there are working, they have busy lives, they might not be able to watch a 3-hour meeting, so we want to make sure they're up to date of what's going on. That is Brooke Federico, Public Information Officer for the County of Riverside. Thank you, Brooke. Always good to see you.
Same. Thank you, Pep.
All right, so for Brooke, my name is Pep Fernandez, and we'll see you next time on the Riverside County Board Brief.